Greetings. I bought my car last April. It's a used car. It's a 2014 Kia Cadenza. I love that car. But I've had trouble with one of the tires, the rear passenger tire. Now, I had the car maybe 4 months when this light came on, and I wasn't sure what it meant at the time. But basically what it's telling me was that my tire was low. I had to figure out which one. I did all the tires, and I figured out which one had the low tire, so I put enough air in it, good to go. Didn't think about it again, probably for another 3 months, when that light came on again. Now, that kept happening, and eventually I realized it was always just that same tire. So I'm thinking, you know what, it's got a slow leak somewhere. A couple weeks ago, the light came on, I had to put air in the tire, figured, okay, I got another few months to go, but this time it only lasted 2 weeks. That ain't gonna work. So I made an appointment with the Goodyear people, and I left my car there, and I had to come home because I had a guy installing a light in the house, and then I was going to go to lunch. So I get a call from Goodyear after about 2.5 hours, and the guy says to me, we can't find anything. We've tested the tire, we've done the water test, we've done this balloon test, we did this other test, and we just can't find anything, and I'm not really sure what the problem is. We haven't been able to duplicate it. I said, well, I'm not really sure, but, if you don't think you can. He says, no, he can't. And he says, hold on a second. So then someone starts talking to him in the background. And they said, we may have figured something out. We're going to take another look at it. And we're just going to go ahead and repair it. It's not going to be at any cost to you if we figure it out. I said, okay, that's great. I'm going to go eat. So I had to walk up to this Japanese restaurant. I ordered chicken teriyaki, had myself a good lunch. After I ate my lunch, I walked across the busy street to Goodyear, because Goodyear's right across the street from the Japanese restaurant. And I go in, and the guy says, yep, we got everything fixed. He says, you won't believe this. What he said is that when they make the tires, wherever it is that they make the tires, they usually have an area where they put a tag on it, telling what kind of tire it is and what kind of car it goes to. And he says it's very tiny. And what happens is that then they spin the tires and they push the stems into all these tires. And he says it's a random process. And in my particular instance, the stem went through this little sticker that was on the tire. So it was causing this slow leak since 1974. He said it's just wear and tear. It was this little thing that probably nothing was happening on it for a long time. And then suddenly it probably develops this little leak because that little piece of plastic paper was there, and it just expanded. He says, we wouldn't have found it if you hadn't mentioned something about pulling out the stem, wondering about that. He says, what happened is we tried to put air in it, and the air went out, and that's how we discovered it. And that had happened to me, and I thought it was just where I was at the time trying to put air in the tire, so I went somewhere else. So they fixed it. And everything is going great. Now, it's only a few days, so we'll find out in a couple of months if that tire is actually totally fixed. But I thought how interesting that was, that it was oversight on something. It wasn't really anybody's fault. It was random. And it was a small problem that just got bigger and bigger and bigger. Now, if I had addressed this the first time that the tire went down, maybe they would not have found it, but they might have, and I might not have ever had to worry about. I've been on a few trips with that car. I've been on the highway, the thruway. I've had that car up to 85 once. Just had to test it. And you just never know. And one of those things you learn in leadership is that you don't let your small problems develop into big problems. Unlike me and my tire, whenever I had a problem that came up, I would do a determination as to whether this was going to be something that could grow into a bigger problem, or whether this was something that was a one-off and I didn't have to deal with it. But I still had to examine it. And I always wanted to make sure that, for instance, if it was a procedural issue, even if it was a small thing, it's like, okay, let's look at everything. Let's just do this. Let's be cautious. Because if you're a good leader, that's exactly what you want to do. And you want to work with the people who found it, if you didn't find it yourself, to make sure that we beat this thing way in advance, and this is not a problem we're going to have to deal with again. That's really how it's supposed to be. I probably should have done that with my car, but I wasn't thinking about it. I've had a lot of other things going on over the past year, including the car accident. So, I hadn't really thought much about it. But if you're a leader and you come across issues, you need to fix them. If you're not a leader, but you notice that something's wrong, you need to tell someone. Hopefully you're not telling someone who always kills the messenger for, delivering news that they don't want to hear, but you have to do your best, because no one wants to one day wake up and find that they have had an explosion or a tsunami because they knew about an issue and it didn't get addressed. That's my thought. What are your thoughts? My name is Mitch Mitchell. You let me know. If you like stuff like this, please subscribe. I'll talk to you later.